calling Macbeth a play about ambition is neat, tidy, and too weak. Ambition matters, but it does not explain the wreckage.
Right. If ambition were the whole story, Macbeth would be a simple climber. He is not. The tragedy runs on fear, imagination, moral weakness, and what power does to him after the first murder.
So the usual line misses the mechanism. It gives you the label, not the engine.
Exactly. People say Macbeth wants the crown, and that is why everything happens. But wanting something is not enough. Plenty of people want power. Macbeth destroys himself because once murder becomes possible in his mind, he cannot control what follows.
And the play shows that before Duncan even dies, Macbeth is already unstable, long before he becomes king.
Yes. Look at his reaction after the witches speak. He is not cool, strategic, or clear-headed. He starts imagining murder almost at once. His mind jumps ahead to a crime he has not committed. That matters. The danger is not just desire. The danger is a mind that can picture horror in detail and still move toward it.
That is why the dagger scene matters so much. It is not decorative madness. It shows thought turning into action.
And fear is all through it. Before killing Duncan, Macbeth is not swaggering. He is frightened by what he is about to do, frightened by judgment, frightened by the fact that Duncan trusts him, and frightened by his own capacity for the act. He knows the murder is wrong. He does it anyway. That is moral weakness, not just ambition.
Which also knocks out another lazy reading. Macbeth is not a cartoon villain from scene 1.
No. If he were simply evil, the play would be flatter. What makes it work is that he hesitates, argues with himself, sees reasons not to do it, and then caves. He is not innocent, but he is not empty either. The fall matters because there is resistance before surrender.
So, where do Lady Macbeth and the witches fit? Because people often swing too far the other way and act like they control him.
They push him, but they do not replace his agency. The witches predict. They do not force his hand. Lady Macbeth attacks his pride, questions his nerve, and helps stage the murder. That pressure is real, but Macbeth still chooses. The play is not about a man being remote-controlled into evil. It is about a man who lets suggestion, desire, and fear harden into decision.
And you can see the difference in the gap between Duncan and Banquo. Duncan's murder needs prodding. Banquo's does not.
That is one of the clearest shifts in the play. Before Duncan's murder, Macbeth wavers, and Lady Macbeth drives the plan. After he has the crown, he arranges Banquo's murder himself and keeps his wife out of it. That is corruption in motion. Power does not calm him down. It teaches him how to continue.
Which gets us to the second half of the tragedy. Winning the crown is not the end of the plot. It is the start of a worse version of Macbeth.
Yes, if the play were just about ambition, the crown would solve the problem. It does the opposite. Once Macbeth has power, he becomes more paranoid, not more secure. He cannot enjoy what he took because he knows how fragile it is. A man who gained power by murder now expects murder from everyone else.
That is why Banquo becomes such a threat. Banquo is not attacking Macbeth. He is dangerous because he knows too much and because of the prophecy about his heirs.
Exactly. Macbeth starts treating possibility as if it were immediate attack. Banquo might expose him. Banquo's line might inherit the throne. So Macbeth moves first. Then he goes further and orders the slaughter of Macduff's wife and children, which has nothing to do with brave ambition. That is panic, armed with royal power.
And that changes the scale of the play. At the start, Macbeth is deciding whether to kill one king. Later, he is a ruler making the whole country pay for his fear.
Right. Power widens the blast radius. His private crime becomes public terror. Scotland is described as suffering under him. People are afraid, trust breaks down, and violence spreads. The tragedy is not just that Macbeth wants too much. It is that once he seizes power, he uses the state to protect a guilty mind.
And the witches matter again here, because Macbeth keeps going back to them like they can stabilize him.
But they do not stabilize him. They feed his worst habits. Their later prophecies give him a reckless confidence. But even that confidence is mixed with fear. He wants certainty in a world he has made unstable. So he clings to riddles and acts as if loopholes in language can protect him from consequences.
Which is a bad strategy, and the play knows it. He starts as a man haunted by images. He ends as a man trapped by interpretations.
Good way to put it. Early Macbeth imagines the murder before he commits it. Later, Macbeth imagines threats everywhere and kills to get ahead of them. His mind does not just reflect events, it drives them. That is why reducing the play to ambition is too simple. Ambition opens the door. Fear and imagination keep shoving him through it.
So, the real movement is not desire to success. It is choice to corruption.
Yes, first he is tempted, then he is shaken. Then he commits one murder and learns that power taken violently has to be defended violently. After that, each new crime is easier to order and harder to justify. He is not merely climbing, he is decaying.
And that also explains why Lady Macbeth fades as he hardens. She helps start the crime, but she does not control the regime that follows.
Exactly. Once Macbeth takes over, he outruns her. She wanted a crown. He turns kingship into permanent blood management. That is why treating her as the true villain also misses the point. She is a major force, but the tyranny that follows is Macbeth's.
So, if a student writes, Macbeth is about ambition, that is not false. It is just nowhere near enough.
That is the correction. Macbeth is about what happens when ambition joins a fearful imagination, a weak moral center, and the corrupt logic of stolen power. The crown does not complete him.
And that is why the play still hits. Not because ambition is bad in the abstract, but because one criminal choice turns a decorated soldier into a paranoid ruler who cannot stop killing.
Exactly. Macbeth is not a warning about wanting more. It is a study of what happens after a man makes murder thinkable, then useful, then normal.